Good morning. Today is Tuesday, May the 5th. I am doing a very late video. I should have done this video in April because it was World Autism Awareness Month, and I'm doing this in May, which I am very late, so I apologize. I am doing this video for my children. I do have a YouTube page for my children, which is Notori Nate, which I'm posting this video for my son, my youngest son, who has severe autism, and then I have a son who has a mild case of autism, and I do have a daughter who has a mild case of autism / Asperger's. But this video is going to be based upon how I knew my children had autism. This is going to be based on how I knew my children had something wrong with them and how it affected me and my household. And I'm going to try to do this video without rambling, without crying, and in a short period of time. We're going to do it from my oldest, who is 16. I knew something was wrong with her when she was 2. She is now 16. When she was 2.5 to 3, she started seeing dead people. She started seeing dead people 2.5 to 3 years old. She used to look at you and say, "I see the bones in your face." And I took her to see her doctor. They were like, okay, maybe she's acting rebellious because you are expecting another child. Let me just go back. So right now I have a 16-year-old. I have a child who will be 14 on tomorrow. I have a child who will be 12 on June 29th. And I have a 9-year-old. My 16-year-old has pervasive developmental disorder, which is autism, so they call it right now. Anxiety, a mild case of depression, and my 14-year-old, who would be tomorrow, has ADHD and a mild case of depression. My 12-year-old has pervasive developmental disorder, which is a mild case of autism, and ADHD and anxiety. And my 9-year-old has a severe case of autism and a sleeping disorder. And is somewhat a nonverbal. He's saying a little, he says some words, but not that many. He's learning how to talk. He's saying new words every day, which is awesome. So I'm happy about that. And I'm doing this video in my car, trying to get comfortable. So she started, back to my oldest. So she started seeing dead people at 2.5 to 3. Started saying she see, well, not dead people, but saying, well, yeah, dead people. Started saying she see the bones in your face, and she see dead people. And then she started banging her head and bruising herself. She started going to daycare and school, started saying she was getting beatings, and nobody was hitting her. She was having emotional tantrums and crying and just, acting out. So she started seeing a therapist at a very young age. But they really could not figure out what was wrong with her. They kept saying she was a needle in a haystack. She actually didn't get fully diagnosed until she was 10 years old, which is quite odd, because she was fooling the therapist. fooling the therapist from the age of 2.5 to 10 years old. 2.5 to 10, because she was highly functional, very smart, straight A, B student. But she was bruising herself, banging her head, very anxious, emotional breakdowns. I mean, the worst. I mean, the worst. Very bright, very beautiful. I mean, very smart, very smart. But they couldn't figure her out. They was giving her all these intellectual tests. I mean, all these tests, sending tests to the teachers. They could not figure my child out. I mean, they could not. But they could not fully diagnose her until she was 10 years old. And she finally got her diagnosis of pervasive developmental disorder, which is now classified as autism spectrum disorder, NOS. Anywho, so now she got her diagnosis at the age of 10, and now she's 16. So that's my oldest. So my 12-year-old, who will be 12 in June. So my 11-year-old, he got diagnosed at a late age also. And I noticed when he was in pre-K, he was walking on his tippy toes. And even when he was younger, he carried around this hard plastic shovel with him everywhere he went. In the tub, at the table to eat, to bed, everywhere. He didn't want to eat certain things. He was a very quiet young man. He didn't want to play with nobody. He wanted to play by himself. He was very distant. And still to this day, he's still very distant. He only played with certain people, and those are my sister children. He doesn't have good social skills. I mean, he's very bright. But if he's out in the playground, he will only play with the kids he knows. He's very good with computers, video games, electronics. He can do it. He got diagnosed when he was, when he was 6 years old. It took him a while to get diagnosed also. The school system did not want to diagnose him, even though he was writing his alphabets backwards. I guess because of that No Child Left Behind protocol or whatever, they didn't want to diagnose him. They didn't want to run tests on him. They just wanted to keep passing him from grade to grade. They was giving him good grades on everything. He couldn't really count. He couldn't add. They was giving him good grades. I'm like, he can't count. How are you passing him? He can't do this. How are you passing him? He is struggling. How are you passing him? They're like, oh, he can do this. He can do this. He can do this. I'm like, we're struggling at home. He's doing his homework for 4 hours. How is he passing? Help me figure out, how is he passing? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this on my own. I went to the pediatrician's office. I said, you're going to have to refer him somewhere. He needs testing. So they finally referred him to a specialist who referred him to a specialist. And he finally got testing. So once he got his testing, I'm like, whoa. He has this. I'm like, I knew something was wrong with my young man. So now he has his diagnosis. How can we help him? My son needs help. How can we help him? So now he's getting his help. Where's the light? I'm trying to look at the light. Okay, so my youngest, I knew my son had something going on when he was 1, before he was 1, because he wouldn't say mommy, cup, bye, hi. He ran in circles. He wouldn't eat. He wouldn't sleep. I mean, and being a mom of 3 already, I had so many telltale signs. And I kept telling the pediatrician, I said, something is wrong. And he said, oh, he's a boy. He would talk when he's ready. I'm like, something is wrong. My son won't say mommy. My son won't say daddy. My son won't say hi. My son won't say bye. Something is wrong. Don't keep telling me my son will talk when he's ready. Something is wrong. He kept saying, oh, your son will talk when he's ready. I'm like, I'm ready for my son to talk now. He said, well, come back when he turned 1. We went back when he was 1. He was like, oh, he's not ready yet. Come back when he turned his 15-month checkup. Went back to his 15-month checkup. Oh, he's not ready yet. I'm like, you know what? I'm going somewhere else. I went to Children's National Medical Center. My son was really sick. Oh, and he stayed sick. He kept having fevers because he wouldn't eat. His immune system sucked. Because he wouldn't eat. He wouldn't drink. He wouldn't eat. He wouldn't drink. He wouldn't gain any weight. He was failed to thrive. I mean, it was the worst. It was the worst. Took him to Children's. This one physician said, I'm talking to your son. He's not giving me no eye contact. I'm like, we know. He said, well, why? I'm like, the pediatrician said it's normal. He's like, it's not normal. I'm like, we know. He said, well, we want you to dial this number and make an appointment. We're like, okay, thank you. We called the number the following day. It was, oh my goodness. I can't even think of it right now. But anywho, I'm thankful for that doctor at Children's National Medical ER. I cannot think of his name, but I'm grateful to him. I'm so grateful, because if it wasn't for him, I'm trying not to cry, but if it wasn't for that one pediatrician at Children's ER that one day, we would have not been pointed in the right direction to get my son some help. And that's how my son got diagnosed with autism. And that one phone number pointed him in the right direction to start him for intervention. That one phone call pointed him to special education, to speech therapy, to getting him into special ed, to getting him into pre-K, to getting him to talking, to saying words to this day. He's now 9 in the 3rd grade. His teacher now called me yesterday, said he learned how to tie his shoes yesterday, and he's now trying to eat new food. And he said, what did he say to me this morning? No school. He didn't want to go to school today. No school, to say no words, to say no school. I mean, that's amazing. I'm happy. I mean, he still hasn't said mommy yet, but he told me no school. So I guess mommy will come one day, but no school is good to not saying nothing at all. He doesn't run in circles. If you look at my previous videos to when I first made the YouTube page, he ran in circles constantly. And I guess that was stimulating him. He doesn't run in circles no more, but he still makes the noise, I guess, to stimulate his mind. He doesn't hit himself like he used to, but he still makes like the hand gestures, I guess, to stimulate himself. He still only drinks one thing, which is cool. What is it? The grape flavor, cool. What is it? Grape flavor, and I got cases at home. Oh, Roaring Water, grape flavor Capri Sun. It's nasty. Tastes like cough syrup. Ew. He like plain stuff, like plain spaghetti. No butter, no oil, no nothing. He love plain Kraft mac and cheese, chicken nugget, cheese pizza, chicken nuggets with plain hot dogs. Oh, his favorite new thing is hamburgers, plain hamburgers. Love grapes, love apples, love bananas. And his new favorite thing is Butterfingers. But he's eating new food, he's learning new words, and I'm happy. And I'm so sorry that my video is late. But, you know, I'm got a lot on my plate. I'm juggling a lot of balls. But anywho, thanks for following my page. And I plan on posting some new videos. And, you know, thanks for following my children, especially my little one. And I'm going to keep you all posted. Have a good day. And I'm trying to look at the whole, I mean, I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking at to make the video. Anyway, have a good day.